We are ready to race in Japan. And it's a pretty good clean start. One of the Toyotas not quite running through its grid markings, and that might be a problem for them early on. Sebastian Buemi in the number 8. The two Cadillacs fan out, trying to defend against Paul de Resta's Peugeot. Marco Sorensen on the inside being very cautious under braking in the Aston Martin. And Darren Turner, so easy to make a mistake there, but it looks like there's been no contact so far.
On the grid of hypercars, they all gave each other space. You can see as they were trundling down the main start-finish straight, they were conscious about making sure no one's going to trip over each other into turn 1.
New leader in LMGT3 behind, though. Darren Young into turn 1 on the inside and grabbed that lead from Tony McIntosh.
Seem to remember him being brave at the start a couple of times in turn 1. We had a couple of cars run out wide, René Rast, and not sure who was behind him. But there's a move on the inside of the number 5, Antonio Giovinazzi, trying to hang on. Julian Andlau going the long way round the outside and cuts across the nose of the Ferrari, takes the place. So on board with Giovinazzi, our points leader, and 83, the yellow Ferrari has been pushed down. Phil Hansen being cautious, he's down to 11th already.
Yeah, look, the 15 car was making a move there into turn 10 as he made it through. The answer is yes, he has.
Yeah. Two Ferraris nose to tail, the second the Aston Martins, that 007 Harry Tingle behind Phil Hansen, and he's just been the other Ferrari 50 car, Nick Nielsen, trying to have a go, but the Aston Martin has got long legs on this straight.
The Aston Martin making progress here.
And the second of the Porsche is the number 6 car, Lawrence Vantor, up behind Mike Conway's Toyota. He didn't get through.
15 BMW taking a look up the inside of the...
Oh, and off into the gravel and back on again very quickly comes the number 6.
Trouble for 78 Lexus, we'll come to that in a moment because it's fast and furious stuff in the middle of the pack here in Hypercar. Making progress is Harry Tingle.
Yeah, the Aston Martin has got very good top-end speed, and as long as they can keep their tyres alive, they could be a real factor in this race. On board with Lawrence Vantor, this is the number 6 Penske Porsche 963, right behind the second of the Ferraris, the number 50 car, Nick Nielsen.
Yeah, Vantor too making progress in these early stages of this race. 78 car has got moving again, had an incident at turn 16. I'm sure we'll get to that in due course. We can't take our eyes off the hypercar battles at the moment, Martin.
Yeah, Loic Duval in 7th, and he's right behind the other Ferrari Porsche battle. So both red Ferraris have got a Penske Porsche behind them. That's Antonio Giovinazzi in 51, the all-red car with a white nose and white highlights. That's number 5, Julian Andlau. The number 20 BMW with the yellow, red and white, the shell livery. René Rast in 8th place. We ride on board down the straight, Darren, and he can see the Peugeot pulling away.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit disappointing from his seat, looking at the Peugeot getting a bit of a better drive out of turn 16. But hopefully it comes back to them with tyre wear later on in the stint, and then make some progress from that point there onwards.
A strong start as well from Ben Keating in that 33 Corvette that's had an up and down year.
Through on the inside of the Aston Martin comes the second of the Ferraris, and that is 50 versus 007 Harry Tingle in the green Aston. Up through on the inside has got Nick Nielsen being pretty aggressive there. Saw a tiny opening, Darren, and if you see a gap and you don't go for it.
He certainly went for it at that point, and then obviously Tinks is now coming back. It does look like the Aston's got some good speed on the main straight, but maybe they're compromised on the aero and losing a little bit out on that sector 3.
But look at the Porsche,
yeah.
number 6 car also going round the outside the 50 car. Can he make it through that tricky turn 1? Gonna have to go the long way round this. He does. The Ferrari is right with him, still there, still there. The spotter would be screaming at this point, but the Porsche makes it through.
Yes, it does. Through to the left-hander as they come sweeping down the hill, and that frees Tingle up to try and chase the yellow 83 Ferrari of Phil Hansen. So 2 British drivers, nose to tail, just outside the top 10. 10th place is Ferdi Habsburg in the 35 Alpine, and a challenge for the lead. Now, this is where it all went wrong last year for McLaren. Down into turn 1 a couple of times. Darren Leung and James Cottingham change positions. Cottingham taking the lead, and that's the slipstream effect. Even with your own teammate, you can draft past them on the straight.
Ben Keating up to third in that exchange as well, past Tony McIntosh, who I think is driving at this point. Bit of a wiggle there for Ben in the Corvette. I think Darren Turner at the moment, slightly conservative start here from Tony McIntosh.
Yeah, when you look at what Tony achieved in Brazil, it was a fantastic first opening stint.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, he's dropped obviously back a little bit at this point.
Well, he was on the front row, beg pardon, on the second row of the grid. Yellow nose there coming down into turn one. Ian James on the outside got just shuffled out a little wide, and that allowed the second McLaren that was using the inside channel. You see Darren Leung diving to the inside there briefly.
I'll tell you what, I'd like to see a replay of the cars actually starting the race, because he was way behind before they got into turn one. 54
Thomas Floor got biffed out onto the gravel by the 81 Corvette and dropped way down the order. And here is the McLaren going around. Does he get two Astons in one go? Doesn't quite. This was all on lap one. Took the second position away from number 10 car after it ran wide down there at turn 10. So Tony McIntosh being conservative. We heard from him before the start of the race, chatting to Shea, and he was saying, I'm sure somebody will try and win it on turn one. That is not our plan. Yeah, so it looks as though our leader, Will Stevens, got through cleanly. He's now 4 seconds up the road ahead of Sebastian Bourdais, on board with so the other Sebastian Buemi, Swiss driver in the number 8 Toyota, and he's got the 35 Alpine, 30 Habsburg right behind. Habsburg gets a cleaner run. Buemi got held up behind the Iron Dames. Habsburg 4 wheels over the white line, so even if he makes that pass there, he'll have to give it back. Now he's looking to go around the outside into turn one, Darren. This is going to be latest of the late breakers.
Absolutely. I mean, he got squeezed a little bit to the pit lane on the way down there into turn one, and obviously just trying at the outside line, see if he could push Buemi into a mistake, but he's way too experienced for that.
Now, part of that is working on their fuel economy. The other part, as we see a change there, the Aston Martin...
Not a change. No. That's Marcus Sorensen fending off the still present danger from the Peugeot. These two have been at it all the way through.
Oh, trouble for that is 007, Harry Tincknell.
That's down at turn 10, I think.
That is at turn 10. He's tried to dive into a gap.
And some damage as well on the front left. And just going back a couple of corners, it must have been pretty awful for Marco to be right up the back of his effective team boss Ian James in the 27 car. You're trying to make progress, keep that Peugeot behind, but also not get in the way of the racing with the GT field.
Just looking there, the front straight line speed we've seen of the Aston, but the Peugeot is mighty as well in the straight line. He's stuck with the Valkyrie all the way down the start-finish straight, leaving the Ferrari a little bit behind. Closes up under braking, but it's these two beginning to look to try to make a breakaway from the rest of the pack.
So Paul de Resta in fourth, Marco Sorensen in third. Harry Tincknell complaining about rear brakes locking. And where is he? In there inside the 83 car. He was trying to make a move on 83. Contact with the yellow Ferrari. That's right on board, Darren.
And the 15.
Yeah. I think the brakes may be the least of his issues.
I'm just unlucky. I just don't understand what to do. I went up on the big, but...
He went up on the BB, the brake balance. And there you see it all open up for the Porsche behind. Sebastian Buemi again, painted to the white line on the inside. Ferdi Habsburg trying to come around him. Doesn't get it done this time, but it looks like the Alpine has got just a little bit more pace than the Toyota, and I think Habsburg might be getting frustrated here.
Yeah, danger as well here for this pair. For Lance Vantour is making further
contact.
Yeah, contact front to rear.
Habsburg hit the back of the number 8 car, and is that a left rear puncture? It is. That is a left rear puncture, instant puncture from that contact. So the 35 car may be in trouble in the steward's office, so I'm afraid 007, because Harry Tincknell turned 2 cars around, full course yellow. Now we had yellow flags out elsewhere.
There's going to be a fair amount of debris around now, not just from that, but also from that 3-car incident that involved, by the way, not the 50 Ferrari and the 15 BMW that was turned around.
Yeah, that was a late move. I don't really think it's an overtaking opportunity, turn 3. maybe on from class to class, but actually you really need to have a big overlap at that point. So it's a bit of a lunge, and really unlucky for car 8 to get that puncture. But on the flip side of that, he's quite lucky that he went straight to full course yellow. So everyone's at a slow pace while he's making his way back to the pits.
Yeah, so that actually enforces him coming back slowly and minimising the damage. But yeah, instant deflation from the 8 Toyota.
Play with the bars if you need. Man, maximum slow, maximum speed. I do everything. Yeah, copy.
Well, a spin there from the number 60 Mercedes, the yellow car of Andrew Gilbert, and that split the difference here. And the one who lost out was Loic Duval, got first to the scene of the incident and lost more ground. And Darren Turner, sometimes being the hunter is hard, but being the hunted is often much harder.
Yeah, absolutely. I always prefer to be sort of hunting someone down and using them as the pace, but you can see this is a real drag race down into turn 1 here between the 5 and the Peugeot. Yeah, I mean, that move's taken 3 corners to make that happen, hasn't it? It's basically, and it's still going on.
Yeah, the Peugeot back down the hill underneath him, and he's going to be run into the back of the Lexus. And that's how you use traffic, isn't it? You box in your rival.
Watch the 6, though. That's given the 6 the opportunity to get on the back of the Peugeot. This run back up through the field from Laurens Vanthoor, and he now is given a little bit of light relief, if you like, to his teammate the 5 by putting the Peugeot under pressure from the rear.
A little bit of something flapping on the left rear of Vanthoor's number 6 Porsche.
Red remand for car 36. That was a use of the diff investigation.
Yeah, so it will have been spiking, and oh, look at this, a 3-way contest in LMGT3, being chased by a 3-way contest, and Laurens Vanthoor finding himself in a box full of neutrals there. The number 6 car that came to a halt, trying to get through that traffic, and couldn't quite make its way further past. So that was the Iron Dames, Celia Martin, and the Akkodis car of Petru Umbrorescu and Martin Berry in the Iron Lynx Mercedes. And Celia Martin actually came out on top of that little group. There she is. So she benefited from that quite significantly.
She did. We're just going to see this from the inside. I think heads-up stuff for the GT drivers here, Darren, because that could have been very naughty indeed.
You've got to have eyes everywhere at that point. Turn 10 in particular, it's so tight and twisty down there. Turn 10 to 11. And the change of direction. And
Darren, we saw as the cars came down into turn 1, Darren Young was already well clear of the pole-sitting Aston Martin. I did wonder whether or not Darren had been a little bit trigger happy.
I thought it may have been the other way around, as in car 10 not going at the right point and just sort of bogging down off the line. So yeah, that now makes more sense, doesn't it? Why Darren had such a big lead on the run down to turn 1 on the first lap.
Big time, 31 car makes it through on the inside of the car 21, and there's contact there from the Porsche on the 21 Ferrari. And that's bad news for the 21 car. Could turn into bad news for our championship leaders in the 92 Porsche as well.
Yep, they could ill afford that if they want to tie up the championship here. So there is a significant amount of debris on the track.
In less than 15 seconds. Virtual safety car in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Virtual safety car deployed. VSC.
But you're right, that means that damage can be fixed, and it's probably everybody's now going to take this on as their first fuel stop.
That is massive damage to the side pod of that car. The number 83 car.
And if it was in practice, you'd bring it in and you'd spend 5 minutes repairing it. If you spend 5 minutes in the pits now, then your race is effectively over. Here we go, Cadillac 1-2 again. They will be very, very careful about accelerating, braking and heating their tyres. Will Stevens ahead of Sebastian Bourdais. Paul di Resta in 3rd place in the Peugeot. And as he is in front of us, we ride with Antonio Giovinazzi in 4th. Everybody nose to tail, and effectively pretty much the entire hypercar field is running again as one. It's almost like lap 2 of the race. We've just had an hour going by. Here comes the number 5 Porsche trying to go around the outside of Antonio Giovinazzi as Paul di Resta has a little look at the back of Bourdais. Lock up from the Porsche of Julian Andlauer. Did he get through? I don't think so. Everybody else clean, and the 009 Aston Martin, 007 rather, trying to go by, no, he's 009, trying to go by the 83 Ferrari.
That was actually, I think, Harry Tincknell under pressure from the 83, but it's all sorts of action happening here. It's going to take a lap or 2 to sort it all out.
94 Loic Duval, the second of the Peugeots, attacking Andlauer and Giovinazzi. The Peugeot drivers with their tail up. And look at Paul di Resta all over the back of Sebastian Bourdais' Cadillac for second place. This is perhaps the best position di Resta's been in during a race. He looks around the outside, Darren, and that makes it the inside for the next corner. That's a good move.
And now he's got the drive out of turn 11. As he goes up to turn 12, he's made that move happen. And the Ferrari now is getting underneath. So this could be a point where the Cadillac drops down to fourth.
That bit of debris flying up there. I don't think it came off a car, rather from under a car, but the Cadillac struggling for traction up the hill. He's out wide. Giovinazzi giving him absolutely zero room to manoeuvre. He hangs on though, Bourdais, but he's not going to be quick onto the straight, and the Ferrari will be right in the tow. Will Stevens leading the restarted race after half a dozen laps of safety car. Here's the battle for third. Antonio Giovinazzi's Ferrari on the inside of Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais was second at the restart at the end of lap 1 of the fresh race. He is down to third, down to fourth now, and behind you can see another of the Ferraris moving up. That's the number 50 car. Nick Nielsen went by René Rast in the number 20 BMW.
Watching side by side, Aston Martin Alpine this time, and then in the background, the Tota trying to go around the Proton Porsche, and Aston Martin to the outside of that.
And 007, I think they're both catching 007, Harry Tinkle they are, and so that's 2 places made up by Nick de Vries. He got by the 99 and 007 in that one move down the straight. All the BMW on the inside. Ahmed El Harty having a little run at Ben Keating, and that's slow Keating. And here on the straight, this time, Darren Turner, this is Al Harty with the head of steam that he wanted.
Yeah, last time round, even though the BMW sat in the Corvette's toe, it looked like the Corvette just had a little bit, even now it's starting to come back a little bit. It just had a couple of kilometres now quicker. The Aston behind's getting a great double toe off the pair of them, but the BMW is making that move into turn 1. Actually quite a clean move at that point.
Yeah, could have gone the inside channel. That would have helped Al Harty. Might have helped him as well. Bell Keating drifts a little wide in 3. Ian James almost overlapping around the outside. There's Yasser Shaheen with the white and blue BMW as well. And a little wobble from the Corvette, from the Aston Martin. And the BMW moves up. And this is, we talked about earlier on, if you try a move and it doesn't work, you lose a place. Contact with Shaheen there on Ben Keating.
But that's compromised into Ian James, who's alongside, 3 wide into the corner. Can't make it all through there.
I think it's going to be 4 wide by the time they get down to turn 10 there.
Yeah, Tony McIntosh was conservative early on, but I think he wants to make some places back up. Don't forget the number 10 car started on pole. Rubens Barrichello on the left, Eduardo Barrichello on the right. Watching that, it was Eduardo who claimed pole position after Tony McIntosh had put the number 10 car into the lead group. And 21, Francois Heriot going ahead of Ryan Hardwick. Hardwick, the points leader in 9th, and he is now being caught by Celia Martin in the other car run by Manthey, and that is the Iron Dames car. They're up to 10th from 17th on the grid. And that is for that 3-car incident with the 83 car, and the significant damage for 83 is a real championship changer. With 009, this isn't going to be 2 for the price of 1, but he is going to get by Loic Duval. Loic in that Peugeot, also closing in on the Porsche of Julian Andlauer.
Yep.
And Sorensen, I'm sure, does it. Am I? No.
It's not over yet. There was a bit more of a, on the way out, Peugeot had a bit more traction on that initial sort of application of power, so it wasn't a done deal until we got to turn 3.
Yeah, Viking versus Gaul, and the long ship comes through, doesn't he? He's going to be looking for another one with the Julian Andlauer's next target. He's on fire here.
So this is Aston Martin versus Ferrari. Marco Sorensen in the Aston, Nick Nielsen trying to catch him in the Ferrari. And that's it's a long way from where they were in Qatar for the Aston Martin crew. Now then, Ryan Hardwick, the run down the hill, just has to have a little breathe out there as they start to climb again. And Celia Martin,
Celia looking racy. She's looking racy in this phase of the race. I think she's got a better car underneath her at the moment than Ryan Hardwick does. I think she's just waiting for the next error that might come the way of either of the cars ahead, and I think at that point you might see the Iron Dames back in contention and climbing back up the field.
And Tony McIntosh looked like he was just losing a place to Tom van Rompuy as well. Back with the BMW versus Alpine, and that is a change of position. 35, Ferdy Habsburg has moved ahead of René Rast, and here is Tom van Rompuy, end of the straight inside Tony McIntosh. And McIntosh lost 3 places halfway through sector 3 and towards the end of sector 1. That was a tough half a lap for him.
Might be able to claw back the position on the Corvette, but now it looks like the deal's done in turn 3. But it's one of those, you get, again, it's all down at sector 3, isn't it? It's those corners there, you get out of position on one, and then you're a sitting duck for someone else to make a move as well. And also, as the race is going on, we're getting this racing line that's clear, and it's obviously got the grip, but you've got the marbles coming into effect, so you don't have to be pushed offline too far to suddenly lose a lot of grip.
Well, that's slightly encouraging, but also quite frustrating. What would be nicer to hear is we are faster than the next 3 cars in front of you, so he's going to have to make it work in traffic. He goes underneath the 21, and he's going to try and ease the number 6 car out onto the dirt, box him in. Didn't quite manage to box him in behind the Lexus, but that was Nick de Vries really getting his go-kart race ahead on.
Yeah, it was heads-up stuff from Nick de Vries, an opportunist move he attempted. Nearly paid off, might still pay off. On the inside here, down into turn 1, has a good line here. I think he's going to get this done.
Yes, he is. Darren, that was really aggressive racing, trying to make something happen in traffic.
Yeah, you want to use it to your advantage all the time. Sometimes you can use it to defend, and sometimes you can use it to actually make a position up like we've just seen, sort of thing. So every time you come up to traffic, there's an opportunity, and hopefully it goes in your way.
Meanwhile, this is Alpine versus Toyota for 9th place. Looking down the inside, Nick de Vries tried to close the door on him, the 36 Alpine, Fred Makovici. Nick de Vries was having none of that.
Yeah, I think we are better in terms of degradation, and this is why in the end we were the fastest. So I think we have a good opportunity. Let's keep working and keep doing like this.
Well done, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bruce. Big crash for Raffaele Marcello. He's just taken over the number 15 BMW. This is his outlap. He has put it in the wall hard, and this will be a safety car, I think, where he's going around the 99 Porsche and loses it on cold tyres. You see brand new tyres on the right there, so it looks like he had a full set. He did. Now, he's complaining about a brake test from the 99 car. The Porsche came in front of him there and looked like a stop. However,
double yellows at T8.
All right, we're going to prepare for a virtual safety car because we're right in the middle, and that means I do get to say
seconds.
Paul di Resta leads for Peugeot.
No, mate, the car is destroyed. Okay, sorry, mate. It's yellow. Please be safe. Please be safe. We saw everything. So not your fault. Are you okay?
We are ready to go back to green. Nico Varone with Jean-Eric Verne under pressure from Nick de Vries. Jean-Eric not quite as close to the tail of the 99 Porsche as he might well have wanted. And so Varone escapes, and we're on board with Nick de Vries chasing the Peugeot down the straight. That is the top 3 with the Cadillacs in 4th and 5th. The championship leading Ferrari in 6th place with a sister car in 8th. Ferrari looking strong in the championship, but Cadillac currently outscoring them at the moment as they work their way down into turn 1 with the LMGT3 leading United Autosports McLaren in the thick of all of this.
Yeah, Nico Varone took a quick look at the instructions he'd been given, and letting cars by wasn't on them. A ball with Mathieu Jaminet, and it's side by side. It's a big mix-up here.
Yeah, Jaminet trying to get by Antonio Fuoco. That didn't happen for him, but look at the Cadillac. That is the 4th place caddy of Norman Nato, car number 12 that led until the safety car, the virtual safety car pit stops. They stopped under green, and they have cost, or that has cost them time as a result. And Alessandro Pierguidi, I beg your pardon, Antonio Fuoco, we're back with him, but Alessandro Pierguidi ahead. He's trying to get by the closest of the Cadillacs as we run up behind the 2nd Peugeot. That's Malte Jakobsen, and he's in 7th place.
It's a big mix-up in the order from where we were before this latest safety car after the barrier repairs. But it is prototype competition leading side by side here between the 7th and 93.
Yeah, this is for 2nd place. Jean-Eric Verne on the outside. Nick de Vries really with the visor down, attacking hard, didn't get through there. And Darren Turner, he's in the slipstream, but he lost a little bit of momentum coming onto the straight.
Beginning to see a little bit of daylight with Nick de Vries ahead. The 5 car goes around the 51. Can he make it there? 8th, 7th. Where's he going to come up this corner? Has he got the traction on the way around here? I think he might have done that, Darren Turner.
Yeah, he has. I mean, that was a good move. He just kept him nice and tight on the apex into 1, and then run the outside, got the traction, and then made the move pretty easy on the way into turn 3.
Side by side in the background there's the number 10 Aston Martin exchanging places with the Corvette. It's the 81 car. Andrade has gone past Eduardo Barrichello, but we've seen the ebb and flow here as tyre management comes into it as well. Cars dropping back in the early stages of a stint, but then coming back very strong indeed. There is, by the way, Ricky Perra ahead of the 46 car now and up into 4th place. It's the inside line. It's clear now of Valentino Rossi, and under pressure immediately Rossi from the other Aston, the Aston Martin number 27, part of Racing's car. It hands now Zach Robichon, the Canadian racer.
Now it could be a silver, it could be a platinum, it could be a gold, so pace will be a little bit different between the cars.
That was the lead change, or the position change.
Tom Campbell, he's not in it, Tom Gamble, his teammate is, but still in the top fight. And look at this, the 83 car trying to come through a side-by-side battle, and that is Sean Gallel going by Jose Maria Lopez, the orange and black McLaren, moving up a spot, and Lopez with Rui Andrade right behind. As so often happens, faster cars make a difference in the battle, but the leaders, Nico Varone under real pressure from Jean-Eric Vergne. I think Vergne is getting bored of seeing the back of that Porsche, Darren. Jean-Eric Vergne will have to work hard again to get back on the tail of Nico Varone, where he was at the end of the previous lap. Coming onto the straight, he was very close, but just didn't get the drive he wanted. Behind the black Toyota, Nick de Vries with Norman Nato. Nato in the position, perfectly placed now. He goes to the outside, he's got the overlap. Darren Turner, that looks like job done.
I'm not sure. I mean, ultimately, unless he can dash across now under braking and block off the Toyota, but the Toyota's got the inside line, so he's just going to try and push him wide on the exit. Like that. So yeah, basically push him wide on the exit. The good thing for the Cadillac, it went way past the gravel.
Right behind, Malte Jakobsen up to 5th. He got ahead of Jenson Button in that first corner as we were watching the 2 cars in front. So the first of the Cadillacs did not get by the Toyota, and the second of them lost a place. Malte Jakobsen up to 5th, so Peugeot 2nd and 5th, Cadillac now 4th and 6th.
Zach Robichon still there.
Yeah, Ricky Perra moved up to 3rd place there. So the Manthey cars are 2nd and 3rd, the Iron Dames, and then the first form car. And this is where it happened.
Switch back on turn 16. Yeah, superb move.
Yeah, the Mustang briefly ahead, then Perra retakes it. Again, another attempt by the Peugeot here. You can look at this in 2 or 3 ways, gentlemen. One of them is these are 2 teams that have not won a World Endurance Championship race. The other one is these teams are taking points off the Manufacturers' Championship. Teams that's taking points away that Cadillac could otherwise close the gap with. That's why Caddy are fighting so hard here. They don't just want the win, they want the points.
It's at a little bit of a tyre disadvantage. Nevertheless, it's still in the hunt.
On the inside goes the Toyota on the Proton car. The Proton car going off to the outside. Can't keep it there. Can't keep it there.
Digging up the dirt, and the Toyota's got the momentum, and here comes the Cadillac as well.
Here comes the Peugeot too. This is to the outside this time for the Toyota, but the Peugeot's got a good run here. What a phenomenal motor race this is turning out to be.
Malte Jakobsen down the inside. Does he get them both? No, not quite. Nick
he
de Vries
does,
is on the
he
outside,
does,
though.
Because there's a GT car there as well. No, he can't quite do it.
Yeah.
Cracking stuff.
De Vries had great traction there out of turn 1, Darren. It was absolutely fantastic stuff. And beside, look, that's Alessandro Pierguidi just behind. He's gone by Norman Nato, so he's up to 5th place ahead of the lead Cadillac.
I mean, that all started at turn 16. Very robust move by Nick there on the exit of 16.
It's the other Cadillac. It's the other Cadillac ahead of Jenson.
Yeah, all right, but look at... Oh, contact! That's Floco on Button, and he needs to hurry up because right behind him, underneath him actually, is Alex Riberas in that Aston Martin. He's attacking the Ferrari. They've gone by Button's car. Has Button got an issue? Because he's now been passed by the Porsche of Kevin Esch as well. And Alex Riberas up into 6th or 7th.
Out of turn 6 there, and losing all the momentum for Jenson there. Maybe a bit too robust on the exit.
With Alex Riberas down the straight with 009. This is for 7th on Floco. And it's absolutely like it's come off the catapult of an aircraft carrier.
The battle of MGT3 off the
Chase for the
apex.
lead. Iron Dames are through, and another Porsche, Toyota affected that because it slowed down the McLaren, and the Iron Dames managed to jump through. So Rahal Frey leads for the first time for the Iron Dames. United Autosports McLaren down into second as the 99 car goes around the outside.
Here, though, is another look at that change for the lead on the inside, using the Toyota that was actually taking the position, or rather leapfrogging the two LMGT3s, cracking stuff from the health right there, heads up, saw the opportunity, went for the gap, sort of carved there, Darren, by the Toyota, and took the position. More traffic coming for this group, but this battle is also closing it up, making an even longer train, because catching this group, which is a moment tailed by Jenson Button, catching is Paulo in the first of the Alpines, the number 35, and the 007 Aston Martin, the hands of Tom Gamble.
Trouble. 99 car turned around. That's a real shame.
Brian he had sort of bad traction out of turn 11 and just enough room to get the nose of the Ferrari underneath him and then shut the apex.
And the 51 car has been bumped down the order, and now 50 under pressure as well. The number 6 Porsche, Kevin Est, bit between his teeth. If you think that Alex Riberas has got the bit between his teeth, Kevin Estre even more. He's going to go the other way round the 21 Ferrari, and he continues with that momentum. He's going to have to cut inside the Cadillac, the Mustang. He finds the room, and he takes the place. Now then, can he clean through there? The next car through, the Cadillac, the Alpine, have both gone by the 51 Ferrari. So the Alpine moves up to 8th, the 51 Ferrari down to 9th. Jenson Button and Paulo Chatin taking advantage of that one.
Is the damage to the 51? He's got the 007 all over him now. Let's watch this again. This is the 6 and the 50.
You've got to have a lot of trust in the Ferrari GT car not to move, not to try and jig left, to try and open some sort of more space for the prototypes coming through. But
what a pass!
I just don't want to even imagine what those two GT drivers are thinking. I'm just going straight. I'm just going straight. So it continues then, Ferrari versus Porsche. Don't forget, these are the two marques that are battling, or were battling coming in here as the top two in the manufacturer's standings, and now they're both ahead of the two Cadillacs, and so now that sort of swings in the other direction. This is definitely not over. Kevin Est just ahead of Antonio Fuoco, and Alex Riberas a long way up the road behind Jenson Button. In 38, and there is a drive-through penalty being issued to the 36 Alpine. That's down in 16th, so that'll be an irrelevance. But yeah, that's for an earlier incident. 99 Porsche still going in the hands of Nico Varone, but he is outside of the points now.
Big mover, he's big backwards is this car. The 51 was 5th, now 9th. Would he be 10th? Because side by side now with Tom Gamble and the 007 Aston Martin. I think he's going to get that done.
Yep, the Aston had the legs on the straight. He turns in on the inside, and Darren, that's going to be hard to defend for the Ferrari.
He's done it,
the Ferrari's still got the inside line now for turn 3. It depends if Tom wants to be brave and hang it out on the outside.
What do you
Which
reckon?
he does, yeah, which he does, makes it all look very easy, completely easy on that sort of move. So yeah, fantastic.
That's why sports cars have two seats, because you've got to fit the cojones in somehow. That's on your bingo card. Well done indeed. Now here's the incident. The Ferrari on the 99, 51 sticks its nose inside. It's on the curbs on the inside. Darren?
Yeah, it's all from the corner before, like out of turn 11, a bit poor traction from the 99. Bit more momentum from the Ferrari, but he wasn't close enough. You know, it was a lunge,
and he was so close to getting taken out by the back of the Porsche. And the 50 car goes through.
You need a left to get into space. I suppose this couldn't for the moment.
Either way, this is a fantastic race so far for the Peugeot team.
Well, I mean, for the home crowd, the number 7 crew have been heroic here. They looked absolutely nowhere in the first part of this race, but Nick de Vries' stint here, no matter what happens from here on in, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, this is kind of Sebastian Buemi in the number 8 car in Bahrain last year, isn't it? Oh, and another big lurid spin. That's 27 Hearts of Racing. And who's that in the dust? That's the 007.
And it's big damage.
And that is out of the race. That is very heavily damaged right front corner. It was Aston and Aston.
It's Heart of Racing and Heart of Racing, I'm afraid.
Yep. So coming out of the pits, 007.
straight on the colder tyre.
Yep.
Good handful at that point.
There's
an overtake
racing
between the GT cars.
Yeah, he's trying to go down the inside of 27. And the Porsche goes inside him. And he turns in and it spins. Wow. Lots of drama as the 007 on its outlap loses it on cold tyres and takes out 27, the harder racing car that had just pitted from the top 3 in LMGT3.
I'll get a gear.
You've got your front corner's hanging off, mate.
That's rotten luck for Tom Campbell.
That is rotten luck for the crew of 27 as well. Innocent parties in that. In fact, had they even stopped the harder racing team, I think they had just come in. Zach Robichon still at the wheel. Tom Campbell is going to try and drag it back.
That's going to be really difficult with that amount of damage on the right-hand side and just trying to get around a right-hand corner. Left, you'd be okay going left, but you're trying to get around the right.
What it might do is prevent a safety car, and that might help 009, which has just had to pit under green. And so actually, that might be a really good call from the team. Get moving. Let's see if we can prevent the safety car. He can't. That's the end of it for 007.
Do you want me to continue or not? It's driving, but...
No, stop, park it, keep out of the way. Yeah, park it out of the way.
Well, for safety, that's the absolutely correct decision.
I wonder where he's ended up, if he's ended up on the outside of turn 4 entry and found a little slot.
Yeah, there was. You could see an orange barrier. There was a truck there, so they could actually pull him back out of the way fairly quickly. We might obviate the need for a safety car, but poor Tom Campbell, that's just really tough. And don't forget, he had left sides only. Into the pits comes the race leader. So Jean-Luc Verne pits the 93 car, has to come around the 21 Ferrari.
Can't compromise this stop.
Coming around the 21 Ferrari actually cost the 83 Ferrari half a minute in the last race.
We will go under full course yellow in less than 15 seconds. Full course yellow in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow, full course yellow.
Well, full course yellow will be to clear up the debris field. The number 7 Toyota of Nick de Vries is our race leader, but look who needs fuel, Graham.
This is massive drama because the pits are closed under full course yellow, and we've got multiple cars on fumes, including cars right at the top end of the championship. And if they come in for emergency fuel, they'll have to come in again, and that's going to be a huge compromise. And look where we're at there. The number 7 car, 3%. Kevin Estra in the 6 car, 1%. Nico Veroni, 1%. They're going to have to pit under full course yellow.
They are going to have to, and that will cost them a lot of time once we go back to green.
That's going to be potentially very valuable indeed for Ferrari.
And for anybody like Peugeot, who pitted under green, who don't have to serve that second stop time.
And Cadillac, by the way.
Yep.
But this is bad news for Porsche. Toyota, I think we've gone to safety car. We've gone to safety car.
Oh, wow.
The pit entry will be closed for 3 laps under the safety car. He's still going to have to come in.
He is still going to have to emergency service, and that's because this car seems to be a bit too badly damaged to be dragged in. It looks like the vehicle that was there does not have the lifting arm for lifting these hypercars.
Safety car is coming in this lap. What that means is if this race stops right now, they've got enough of a gap. But they're not there yet because we've got 2 hours and 4 minutes, and there's plenty of runners and fans. Oh, big twitch for the 92 car, and that's going to mean it's a change for the lead.
No, right halfway does not go past Ricardo Pera, but that is the top 6-7 cars in LMGT3. The turquoise Porsche, Ricardo Pera, right behind Rahul Frey. Then Johnny Edgar in the Corvette, looking to have a look at the back of the Iron Dames car. Then behind them, Sean Gallale as well.
Because we were coming out of a safety car,
she couldn't pass.
She couldn't pass that, and that's hurt her to the Corvette behind.
Now here come the hypercars, and that is Mikkel Jensen, the Peugeot, dives down the inside there. Right behind is Charles Malaysi. So it is two French brands going for the lead in the race here. And the Aston Martin, Alex Riberas, 009, is back up to third place where it was earlier in the race before penalties. And off wide goes the 27 Harter racing car. That was almost, he could see that happening again, couldn't he? Unfortunately, Zach Robertson. Oh, not again, I'm off.
He's got wise to that move from the Valkyries.
And this is going to be carnage because this hypercar battle has to cut through all of our lead LMGT3 cars. There was about 11 in front of them. Antonio Fuoco on the grass, gaining a lasting advantage by going off track. That won't be received very well. He's trying to get by the Aston Martin for third. He does. And right behind him is the 94 Peugeot. And we're behind the 94 Peugeot with Alessandro Pierguidi. So the Aston Martin kept it clean. The Ferrari went off track, got by the GT car, and as a result got by his hypercar rival. In the stewards' room, they'll be going lasting advantage.
Yeah, from all of this, and from absolutely nowhere, Charles Malaysi's second in this race.
I know. Well, again, that's sometimes where you're in the pits or not in the pits, and that makes a difference. And now here comes the 50 Ferrari of Antonio Fuoco, again from sort of somewhere in the 6 to 10 region to battling for second place. Malte Jakobsen down the straight as well behind the Aston Martin. Now if he can hoover up some of that tow, then they will both close on the 50 Ferrari, but he forces the Aston to defend deep on the inside. That'll run out wide and a little slow. So the Alpine and the Ferrari in front of them get through. Here's 7 and 99, and that's a change for position as well. Kamui Kobayashi going up into 11th ahead of Nico Varone. Carving their way through traffic. These safety car restarts are always edge of the seat for everybody, Darren.
Absolutely, and it's the worst case scenario for the hypercar drivers that they're not at the front of the field when it goes green under the safety car. They're in the middle of the pack, so straight away they've got to get past the GT cars. And also, when you looked at the two hypercars that were at the front of the field at that point, Ferrari having that moment as he takes third place away from the Aston Martin, they've locked them because they were at the front. They didn't have to wait for the GT cars to take the start-finish line before they could start overtaking.
Between Kevin Estre and the front of the field has tightened up again, and it's 3 wide in LMGT3 for 7th, 8th and 9th place. 7th place is the Mercedes, or well, was the Mercedes of Lynn Hodanius, Finn Gersitz. He's just about crept by Finn Gersitz. And then Alessio Rivera behind in the 21 Ferrari, looking down the inside. Gersitz in the middle of the sandwich. And Gersitz in the Lexus is going to pick up a place as well because the Mercedes drifts out a little wide. The Ferrari moves up 2 spots. That could be very important. Here's that three-way battle, 21 on the outside here. Or is that 54? That's 54 on the outside. Davide Rigon now at the wheel, the man who took the checkered flag first in Austin, Texas. Getting dive-bombed on the inside by Augusto Farfus in 31. As we ride on board in 46. And Darren, that momentum carried the 46 past as well.
Yeah, and the Ferrari just lost all the momentum by being pushed wide onto the curbs at that point. What I don't understand is 59. McLaren was leading the race for the first half, and now it's dropped all the way back to
timing of its pit stop.
Yeah,
it was. I think it was simply the timing of the pit stop because they're so close together. Just getting the wrong side of one of these cautions, and it's disastrous. Meantime, side by side almost. 51 and the 6th. This is the battle at the moment.
Yet again, and a change for 6th position. No, just holding on in 6th position is the 51 Ferrari of Alessandro Pierguidi, but Kevin Estre is in hunter-killer mode again.
I think he's got him. I think he's got him. It's a great pass there. If he manages that, he does. Just edges the Ferrari wide, takes the position. Alessandro Pierguidi has to lift out of that one.
If basically they're sort of saying, the Ferrari radios are sort of clearly saying, don't bother about getting too much of a fight.
Whoa.
He almost shut the door, Antonio Fuoco, then thought better of it and remembered what the message had said, and Kevin Estre had a half thought and then went.
I've got a briefing note for Ferrari. He has got a target. I can tell you what that target is: win the race. Because he wants the points, he wants to be in this manufacturers and drivers championship fight. They were nowhere in the first 90 minutes of this race. It wriggled on the braking, clattered the curbs, got it done, Kevin Estre is being, well, Kevin Estre.
So Mikkel Jensen is the race leader, pulling away, now 4 seconds away from the Milesi-Estre battle.
I think that's mainly because of the pace, when it's got side by side, 50.
Jacobsen coming back at Fuoco, this is for 4th. Fuoco is going to have to try and hog the inside line because Malte Jacobsen's not going to trust him going around the outside of that Ferrari again, is he?
Well, two of the young guns of the World Endurance Championship in this era, and great to see them side by side, nose to tail in any which way they care to be.
I was just going to say he's not going to go around the outside, he very nearly did at 3.
This is a good day for the CEO of Peugeot to be here, because what a day they're having.
Yeah. Well, let's hope for the sake of Peugeot and its fans, its team, its drivers, its morale, that they actually hang on to another podium finish. They were 3rd and 4th at the end of the Texas race. Half an hour from the end, they were 2nd and 3rd. They could have had a double podium, and it's not beyond the bounds of possibility here either.
Full course yellow removed.
Back to green, good jump away from Mikkel Jensen. And by that I mean that, not that, of course they're trying to figure out how to win this because they're leading the race. It's the fact that they're leading the race and trying to figure out how to get the best of the Porsches. Kevin Estre dive bombs. Charles Milesi runs out wide, out breaks himself. He just didn't quite have enough grip there, but he really had a big lunge. Got inside Milesi, who was not expecting that to come, and nor was Darren Turner, who sat bolt upright in his seat as it happened. But that's Estre all over. He doesn't obey the rules.
It was looking like a great move, and I was like, oh my God, that's, he's attacked right away at the beginning, but just went a bit too deep into turn 6 there.
On the other line, coming into the pit lane, is the 46 BMW, Kelvin van der Linde, so that will be for the final round of pit stops.
No, too early, they're getting the splash. And here we go to the 3 wide into the turn, and that was a touch on the Mustang as that, and another, and up the inside comes Charlie Eastwood. He just has a bit of a wiggle on, can't get the power in.
I wondered if there was a tiny touch between the Corvette and the BMW before. There was a couple of touches between the BMW and the Ford. The BMW's been into the Mustang a couple of times already. This is the view back from Dennis Olsen's car. Boy, mind our camera.
Also making Farfus go around the long way. This is where they started to actually trade a bit of paint, and then I do believe the Corvette just gets underneath and sort of into the back of the BMW right at the apex.
There you go, down the straight.
A little bit of trading paint on the way down.
Hey, Farfus made his living in World Touring Cars for a number of years. He'll be perfectly happy with that. He's raced in many endurance races since then. He won't worry too much about a tiny bit of contact. So back with Peugeot versus Porsche, and this is 94. Malte Jacobsen versus Mathieu Jaminet. So this is the battle for 5th place. Don't forget that the 2 Porsches and the 2 Aston Martin Valkyries, although only 009 is still racing, are 2 driver lineups. So the driver that gets in at the end will already have driven for a couple of hours and will have hopefully recovered his full energy and concentration. Oh, and up the inside comes Jaminet as the Peugeot ran out wide. Malte Jacobsen, you can see the car sliding 4 square there. Jacobsen keeping his foot on the throttle.
Even with the poor exit, then the Peugeot's just got that little bit extra top speed and acceleration, but the Porsche's now back in the tow.
Well, Jacobsen painted on the white line on the inside. He's going to make the Porsche all the way around the outside, and then the doors open. Jaminet can't quite cut underneath Malte Jacobsen. Young Dane doing a very solid job. His Danish teammate leads the race.
No saving, no saving.
Yeah, no saving, other than saving your position, by the way. And saving is that lift and coast thing that everybody has to do to get through the race on the fuel that's allocated, no matter how incredible the consumption of these cars in. That's 88, Dennis Olsen in trouble.
We saw that as the battling hypercars came down the hill.
So what happens?
Dennis Olsen.
Is it contact with 81? It is. Right front. Well, at least it's not an engine, which is what happens to the 77 in free practice, but Dennis Olsen dropping down the order and...
rapidly.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a puncture, or do we think suspension?
No, it looks like it's down on the right front, doesn't it? I think that's a puncture. Oh no.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Is it crabbing a little bit there?
I think if he's had a clout in that corner as he's turned in, I think that's a bent steering arm or suspension.
When the car was going straight, you could see his left hand up, so it looks like he's a bit of steering lock, even go straight. So
bent the steering arm or shuffled the rack across.
Well, that's meant Ben Barker, by the way, in the sister car up into 5th place now. So whilst the 88 is dropping down, the 77 is powering up the order.
So the Alpine definitely went with that 2-tyre strategy compared to everyone else to jump what they gained, like 6 seconds, I believe.
So it's paid off at this point.
Yes.
But what do you reckon over the next hour, Darren?
Well, I'm thinking with the way that the Porsche and Cadillac have been on 4 tyres now, they're going to be in a feisty position as the race gets towards the last sort of 10 minutes or so. So, yeah, for now, you go, that was the right call, but let's see what happens.
For Alex Riberas, their GT car, by the way, is still in 2nd place. We're going to get a full course yellow again in 15 seconds. Despite a big hole in the side of the car, 27, running very well indeed.
6.
Well, they say don't meet your heroes. He's going to have to beat his heroes.
2, 1. Full course yellow, full course yellow.
Down to 80 kilometres now again. And just to clear up any misunderstanding from the last full course yellow that went directly to safety car, the race director can scramble a safety car at any time.
Absolutely he can.
It does not have to go virtual safety car first. Charles still leading the race. Well, we were looking potentially an hour ago at a French car winning the race. We're also potentially now, with 40 minutes ago, looking at a French car winning the race just from the other French team.
Well, spectacularally, I mean, despite the fact they've taken that gamble on the tyres from Alpine, in this phase, he is gapping the Peugeot that's behind him. That gap has gone up over 10, now over 11, approaching 11.5 seconds. Laurens Vanthoor all over Mikkel Jensen and looking for a way by to try to take the fight to the Alpine.
But Darren, he's not been able to get that Porsche into a position to make a move on the Peugeot, so it's kind of a bit neutralised.
Gap with Alpine consistent, depending on the traffic. We keep pushing until the end, everything is open.
On that lap then, Jensen just went a bit too far over.
That was contact. Marcus Sorensen, the back of the number 7 Toyota, and mercifully both emerged relatively unscathed.
Same corner where Tom Gamble made contact with the 27, Heart of Racing Aston. So Sorensen rushing up behind that Toyota and I think being caught out a little by the speed of approach. Maybe Kamui Kobayashi just had a little fuel save or something there. Kamui got away with that. It looked like no major damage, and Goodyear did take those for the LMGT3 tyre. And now running out wide, here comes the Porsche on the inside. Finally, is this going to be the change? And it might be. Oh, goodness me, Mikkel Jensen.
Well, I was about to say, it's the right moment to look back and see where the historical landmark sits. Alpine, last win in the FIA World Endurance Championship was Monza in 2022. Peugeot have never won in the FIA World Endurance Championship. Their last international sports car win, the ILMC, the Intercontinental Le Mans Cup, Zhuhai, at the end of 2011. Porsche, last month, Kota.
There you go, you can't hear what they've got to say, but you can read what they've got to say. Battling for P2 and 3 with the Corvette behind. Everything you've got. 2 to go, then we box. Now, if they're going to have to stop, it looks like the other cars in the top 3 are going to have to stop as well inside the final 10 minutes.
So if they've got to stop, let's have a quick look at the GT3 Energy. That is the 31 car. That's going to mean that the 21 car has to stop as well. So it is game on here for real points.
Yep.
And tight as well, I'd say, as well, for maybe the number 81 car.
And the 92 car should come zooming up the order here. We're hearing from the pit lane, Bruce Joanny reckons a splash for the top 4. So 21, 31, 81, 54. And that means this battle
is for the lead.
Might be the race.
Yes.
Well, this is 31.81, so it is the 46 BMW. 31 breaks for the border now and peels into the pit lane.
Would say there's quite a big gap to play with here, so that this is going to be really, really close. In the last 5 minutes of this race, it could be turned on its head. It always does it, doesn't it? Every single time.
Well, it was wets to slicks, wasn't it, in Qatar, that suddenly saw 4 cars race through the order. Ferrari achieving its first LMGT3 victory in Japan last year, but of course the 54 car, that was that team's 3rd win in GT, 2 in GTE AM, in his 31, and out goes 21 and 31. So Charlie Eastwood leads now. Does he need to stop? We believe he does, yes, with 3%. Davide Rigon, first to the flag last year, with 6%, 5% last week rather, 2 weeks ago. Probably not going to make it through, unless you're Rivera, 10%. Now, I'm sure that Augusto Farfus hasn't got 99% fuel left. That might be a slight glitch. 21 got turned around at least once. 54 got shoved off twice. I think twice on the first lap. Here again, a chance, but the Peugeot keeps the momentum up around the outside of the Lexus and leaves rubber on the corner as he peels it off 16. Again, everything fell right there for Mikkel Jensen, and he had the savvy to get through the traffic.
Last lap for the race leader, Charles Milesi. 8.5 seconds clear. Yes, the gap's come down a little, but he's able to manage it now. This battling pair, it's about, now 21. 5 seconds added to the next pit stop. There will be 5 seconds added at the end of this race. Charlie Eastwood, 8 seconds back. This, though, the race leader, Charles Milesi, in the 35 car. He's coming down now through turn 6 for what will be the first win for the Alpine Endurance team since Monza in 2022, Martin.
The first win in Hypercar, down to turn 10. It's going to be a red letter day for Alpine. It's going to be a big day for the red, white and blue of France as well, because this will be Peugeot's best result if Mikkel Jensen can hang on to second place. 2 French manufacturers on the top 2 steps of the podium, and Laurens Vanthoor is going to try and make sure that if they're on the podium, Peugeot will not be second, but Jensen again wriggles through traffic, and again, if he can just get onto the straight, even level with Vanthoor, that will be almost enough. Vanthoor just doesn't have the overlap. Onto the straight comes Charles Milesi. The Alpine Endurance team win in Hypercar for the very first time. It is Alpine who will win the 100th World Endurance Championship race here in Fuji. A phenomenal success for Philippe Signeau's team, who brought Alpine into Hypercar, and Peugeot take their best ever result in second place with a 93, ahead of the frustrated Laurens Vanthoor. But Alpine, what a day for them. And that wasn't because anybody was excluded, that was because they drove a great race.
We've got massive dramas in LMGT3. What was 8 seconds is 5.1. Alessio Rivera from Charlie Eastwood with the car ahead with a 5-second penalty to come. There are yellow flags at turn 16 that have just been removed. What is the gap going to be? It's under 5 seconds. Could this be changed at the line? Looks to me like the 21 car is going to cross the line ahead, or is he?
This could be the second race in a row where of course, a Ferrari wins only to not win. Charlie Eastwood 3.6 seconds back.
I think he's out of fuel.
Alessio Rivera may be on fumes.
I think he's out of fuel.
I can see the Corvette. Eastwood in the background. He might not even beat him to the checkered flag. He's trying to come out of the corner. The car is still going, but that's pedestrian pace. Charlie Eastwood in the Corvette might even take it at the line. But there is that 5-second penalty for the 21 car. They are first to the checkered flag. Eastwood 2 seconds behind in second place. I'm sure the team were on the radio. Eastwood was flashing the lights. There's the time penalty added. So it is victory for Corvette. Second place for the 21 car and third place for the 31 BMW. Alpine the winners. Peugeot in second. Porsche, what a resurgence for Porsche Penske Motorsport. Third and fourth. They keep the championship very much alive. Peugeot in fifth, Aston Martin in sixth position, but a very tough week for the factory Ferrari team. They failed to score a single point.
But there we are with the overall result in LMGT3. TS Sport take it on adjustment post race from 3 seconds from up by the 21 Ferrari, Vistray, of course, that crossed the line ahead, the 31 BMW third, and all sorts of storylines behind, including from a number of championship contenders.
Be in the hunt for the manufacturer's crown at the end of the race as well. A big cheers for Peugeot, huge cheers for the Alpine team. I think the Marseillaise is going to be very strongly sung here